The Secret Life of Amelia Earhart. Unsolved history mystery. Have you ever heard of a woman so daring, so fearless, that she took to the skies when the world still doubted that women could even fly? Amelia Earhart wasn't just a pilot. She was a symbol of courage, independence, and mystery. But behind the fame, behind the headlines, there was a secret life and a disappearance that shook the entire world. A disappearance that has never been solved. And tonight, we're going to step into that mystery together. But before we begin, let me ask you, what if one of the most famous women in history, didn't he just vanish? What if she was hiding something all along? The story of Amelia Earhart begins in the early 1900s, when airplanes were still fragile machines made of wood and cloth. Born in 1897 in Kansas, Amelia grew up during a time when women were expected to stay grounded, not take to the skies. But Amelia was never one to follow the rules. She loved adventure, she loved challenges, and she loved proving people wrong. From a young age, she dreamed of flying higher and farther than anyone before her. And eventually, she did. By the 1930s, Amelia Earhart was a household name. She was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, a feat that made her not only famous, but legendary. Newspapers called her Lady Lindy, comparing her to Charles Lindbergh, another aviation hero. People admired her courage, her smile, and the way she inspired young women to believe in themselves. But Amelia wasn't just a pilot. She was also someone with secrets, letters, personal accounts, and even government files suggest that her life was far more complicated than the glamorous image in magazines. In 1937, Amelia Earhart announced her most daring adventure yet. To fly around the entire world. It would be the longest, most dangerous flight ever attempted by any pilot. Male or femelle. The world watched in awe. If she succeeded, she would become a legend beyond compare. If Sephiel would become a mystery. On July 2nd, 1937, Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, left New Guinea, heading toward a tiny island in the Pacific called Howland Island. That was the last anyone ever heard from them. A final radio transmission, then silence. The U.S. Navy searched for weeks. Ships, planes, even submarines scoured the Pacific, but Amelia was gone. No wreckage, no boaties, no answers. Just silence. And then the theories began. Some said she crashed into the ocean and sank to the bottom, lost forever. Others believed she made it to a remote island and lived as a castaway. Some whispered that she was captured by Japanese forces as tensions rose before World War II. And a few even suggested that she returned to the U.S. under a new identity, choosing to live a secret life away from the spotlight. But here's the chilling part. Fragments of evidence have been found. Tiny clues scattered like breadcrumbs across history. A piece of metal that matched her plane. Radio signals that some swore came from her aircraft. Bones discovered on a lonely island in the Pacific that might or might not have been hers. The mystery deepens because every clue only leads to more questions. What really happened to Amelia? Did she die a hero's death at sea? Or did she escape, leaving behind the world that adored her? For decades, people have tried to solve this mystery, chasing every possible lead. Some evidence points one way, then suddenly another clue points in a completely different direction. It's like Amelia's final flight left behind a trail of shadows, but no solid answers. And maybe that's what makes her story so haunting, because no matter how much we search, the truth slips through our fingers. Hoosed like sand. One of the strongest theories is the crash and sink theory. According to this idea, Amelia and Fred Noonan never made it to Howland Island. Instead, they ran out of fuel somewhere over the vast Pacific Ocean. Imagine it, their tiny plane circling above nothing but endless water, the fuel gauge dropping lower and lower, the radio transmissions becoming more desperate. Then silence, a descent into the waves, and in moments, the ocean swallows everything. It's simple, it's heartbreaking, and it's believable. The Pacific Ocean is vast beyond imagination. To this day, much of it remains unexplored. Wreckage could still be lying there, deep below, untouched for nearly a century. But there are problems with this theory. People reported hearing distress signals after Amelia disappeared. Amateur radio operators claimed they picked up faint transmissions voices, calling for help. Could those voices really have been Amelia? And if so, how could she have been sending signals if her plane was underwater? That leads us to another theory. The castaway theory. Some researchers believe Amelia actually made it to an island called Nikomaroro, which was uninhabited at the time. Evidence was found there, a piece of aluminum that seemed to match the type used in her plane, parts of a shoe that looked like hers, and most chilling of all, human bones discovered in the 1940s. At first, those bones were dismissed. Scientists back then said they didn't match Amelia, but decades later, with modern forensic techniques, researchers suggested those bones might have actually belonged to her. Imagine that for a moment. Amelia Earhart, one of the most famous women in the world, surviving a crash, stranded on a remote island, waiting for rescue that never came, slowly, desperately, fading away while the world searched thousands of miles in the wrong direction. Yet the mystery doesn't end there. Another theory ties Amelia's disappearance to the rising tensions of World War II. Some believe she was captured by Japanese forces after landing in the Marshall Islands. There are stories, though unproven, of islanders who claim to have seen a woman and a man foreigners taken by soldiers. Some even said Amelia was held as a prisoner. The U.S. government always denied this, but the whispers never died. Was Amelia Earhart's fate not an accident, but a secret hidden by governments during wartime? And then comes perhaps the strangest idea of all, that Amelia Earhart returned home under a new identity. There was once a woman named Irene Bolam who lived quietly in New Jersey. Some conspiracy theorists claimed she was actually Amelia, having chosen to disappear and live in secrecy. Irene herself denied it strongly, and after her death, DNA tests seemed to prove she was not Amelia. No matter which theory you believe, one truth remains. Amelia Earhart's disappearance is not just about a missing plane. It's about a woman who symbolized courage, adventure, and breaking barriers. Her story represents something bigger than herself. Maybe that's why her mystery refuses to fade, because when we search for Amelia, we're also searching for meaning in the unknown. Think about it. If Amelia had lived, if she had completed her flight, her story might have ended neatly in history books. But because she vanished, her name lives on forever, wrapped in suspense and wonder. Every decade, new technology, new explorers, yet the closer they get. In recent years, expeditions have traveled to the Pacific, scanning the ocean floor, searching the islands with drones and advanced sonar. They've found possible debris, strange shapes under the sea, fragments of metal that might belong to her plane. But still, no absolute proof. And maybe that's what makes her story timeless. It is not just an unsolved case. It's a story that invites all of us to imagine, to wonder, to ask ourselves, what really happened on that flight? Did Amelia Earhart fall into the ocean's endless silence? Did she struggle for survival on a lonely island? Was she caught in the gears of world politics? Or did she slip quietly into a new life, leaving the legend of Amelia behind? There's one more thing to consider: the way her disappearance shaped her legacy. Amelia Earhart wasn't just an aviator. She was a symbol of women pushing boundaries in a time when few dared to. She proved that women could fly, could lead, could inspire. Her disappearance, in a strange way, made her immortal. If she had lived, she might have been forgotten. But because she vanished, she became eternal, a mystery that no one can solve, but everyone wants to. And now, the story is yours. You've heard the facts, the theories, the whispers, the evidence, but the question remains: what do you think really happened to Amelia Earhart? Was she lost to the sea, a castaway on a forgotten island, a prisoner of war, or a woman who chose to walk away? The truth is still out there, waiting to be found, or maybe it will forever remain hidden. Before you go, take a moment to imagine Amelia in her final hours. The roar of the engine, the endless ocean below, the courage in her heart. Whether she lived or died, whether she was lost or survived, one thing is certain: Amelia Earhart, a spirit of adventure, will never vanish. She belongs not just to history, but to all of us who dream of the skies, who believe in chasing the impossible, and who are drawn to mysteries that may never be solved. If this story has captured your imagination, if you feel the mystery pulling you deeper, then you are part of the journey now, and I invite you to keep exploring with us. Hit that like button if Amelia's story moved you. Share your theories in the comments because maybe, just maybe, the truth will come from someone like you. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of unsolved history, ancient mysteries, and strange disappearances that keep us all wondering about the secrets of our past. Because the past is never truly gone. Sometimes it's just waiting for us to keep asking the right questions. And Amelia Earhart, she may be gone, but her mystery still flies.